Docker is an open-source containerization platform. It enables software developers to package applications into containers. The containers combine application source code with all the operating system libraries and dependencies, which are required to run the code in any environment. While developers can create containers without Docker, Docker makes it easier and safer to build and manage containers. It is an essential toolkit for developers, using simple commands and automation. It can run on desktop or laptop when you are building and testing applications. Desktop version of Docker supports Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Docker is also available for server environment, including many variants of Linux and Microsoft Windows Server. Containers are made possible by operating system process isolation and virtualization. It enables multiple application components to share the resources of a single instance of OS kernel. It does the same way like machine virtualization, which enables multiple VMs to share the resources of a single hardware server. Containers offer all the benefits of VMs, like application isolation, cost-effective scalability, and disposability. But the additional layer of abstraction at the OS level offers some important advantages. Unlike VMs, containers do not carry the payload of an entire OS instance. They include only OS processes and dependencies, necessary to execute the code. Now, let's talk about a brief overview of Docker architecture. Docker engine consists of several components, configured as client-server implementation. Client and server run simultaneously on the same host. They communicate with each other using REST API. Docker client is a command line application, called Docker, that provides us with a command line interface to interact with a Docker server. Docker command uses REST API to send instructions to either a local or remote server. It also functions as the primary interface to manage the containers. Docker server is nothing but a compute instance, like VM or PC, which is responsible for running Docker daemon process called Docker-D. It responds to requests from the Docker client via REST API, and can interact with other daemons. It also manages container storage, network, image builds and many other services. Docker Hub is a cloud-based repository, in which Docker users create and distribute container images. Through Docker Hub, a user can access public, open-source image repositories, as well as use a space to create their own private repo. For example, a DevOps professional can download an official database container image from Docker Hub to use in an application which is deployed in the container, or they can choose a customized image from their own private repository. In the next lessons, we will talk about how Docker image and container work, and explain when to use Docker container. Thanks for watching.